decides whether we get the permit or not. So if it's something easy, we can just answer it, but if it's a technical one, we need to write it down. Okay? Go ahead.
The fish, how is it going to affect the fish?
Well, the treatment itself,
Yes.
the iron, there'd be no impact on the fish. There'd be no impact on the fish, none whatsoever. In fact, oxidizing agent is very similar to the material that was put in the lake to control the algae and the shrimps. It's just a different formulation.
What's the cost?
The cost of the iron experiment, the monitoring and everything else is about $7,000.
So what's the cost for your services over the course of the year?
Well, wait, we're not going to answer that here. If you need that information, you can come see me after, we'll discuss that. But in general, $7,000 for that. Additional money if we have to go to the additional treatments. If this doesn't work, I think that was about $2,400 a shot. There's a cost for his services. He's going to manage the lake. The HOA is out of that business now. And there's a few other things like the permit and that's about it.
There's some water sampling.
Water sample, yeah.
Was the difference,
Wait a minute, wait. What?
Why won't you put out the cost? We're the ones that are putting the bill.
That'll be part of the budget to go to the budget application meeting. I'll show you everything you want to know. Everything.
I'll hold you to it.
I think the numbers.
What was your name? What was your name?
Jim Triller.
Jim?
Triller.
Jim Triller?
I think the numbers Gary gave you are pretty close to what,
Yeah.
I think they're pretty close, maybe a few dollars here and there, but those are pretty firm numbers.
I just wanted a clarification, the different types of treatments or procedures you're talking about. Do all of those apply to both controlling algae and those aquatic plants that grow up the surface of the lake?
The program that we're involved with right now is the control of the algae. I mean, we didn't see, when we were out on the lake, we didn't see a weed problem.
When is that?
When we were there during the bloom, we came out on the lake during the bloom. Now, it may change. I mean, there were noted, we haven't surveyed the lake. The survey that we looked at just said that this particular weed, weed Christmas is in the lake. It didn't say where it was located, it didn't say how the densities were. So I couldn't answer that question if we surveyed the lake.
Well, let me put it this way, quite a few years ago, it got really horrible. And in 2 weeks in the summer, it looked like a swamp out there. And then every homeowners addressed it and it got resolved and it's been, I think, pretty good since then. So if we get to have that problem.
Oh, there's no problem, that
so
can be treated.
You're gonna do,
Yeah,
yeah,
that can be
that's
true.
horrible.
That can be true. But because of the poor water quality, it's hard for me to say exactly what the new work is going to be issues until we survey.
Sounds like you're trying to address both of those.
Well, if the problem arises, we'll address it. So,
I noticed on your data sheets that it appeared that most of the data was, you recorded it as being January 8th of this year, and that it indicated that the collection person was your name. So I would like to know how large is your staff?
well, no, that data, all the data that was presented here was, all the phosphorus data it can be taken right out, was taken right out of the Lake Lorraine phosphate report provided by the contractor that did
No,
the
but
work.
it said your name, but how large is your staff?
It varies during the summer. It varies during the summer. But I can tell you that we'll have no problem servicing this lake or any other lake. We service 50 lakes in the state of Washington every summer.
Can you give me a ballpark number? A dozen people?
Probably 3 to 5 people.
3 to 5.
Your slides that showed sediment and depth of Lake Lorraine, what was the source of those maps? Was that your research or did you gain that from someplace else?
Well, we did that. We have sonar equipment that electronically takes the data off the bottom of the lake, and then it's downloaded, and it's processed, and we produce that now.
Okay, bear with me. Gary, you bear with me. what you are proposing, having done some research on Lake Lorraine, should it not be done for Lake Jean? Because Lake Jean has potentially the same problems, the same aeration system as Lake Lorraine.
Well, I don't want to comment on Lake Jean. I mean, I'm not under contract with the Twin Lakes Homer for that particular water line. I can tell you, many years ago, we worked on both of those lakes back in the 80s. So I'm familiar with the lakes themselves. But I don't want to address anything with Lake Jean. I mean, the bottom line is probably something should be done on Lake Jean, but I don't want to stand up here right now and tell you what should or shouldn't be done, because I haven't looked at all the data on Lake Jean. I've only looked at data for Lake Lorraine.
I'd just like to address what she said about the mats that form. And originally, the carp, the aerators, and revive were established to try to rid the lake of the allodia. And you didn't mention that there was also a filamentous algae problem, and they form mats every summer. And we did, in fact, as a homeowners association, try to stop those mats by the revive. And Aquatechnics told us, well, if we're going to use the revive, it needed the irrigation to increase the oxygen, to help stop the nitrogen, combine the nitrogen, and put it on the bottom. Now, my first question is not really technical, it's just, are you going to continue the revive treatments, try to lock up the nitrogen also?
No. The revive is basically a biological microbe.
Correct.
Biological microbes. And the reason they work very well if you're very aggressive with them. And I was just talking with Gary about how often the material is put in. I just don't think the material is applied enough during the season. We use a lot of biological microbes, but our sites are treated every 2 to 3 weeks during the entire summer. And we get very good control. It's very expensive to use biological microbes correctly. So we are not anticipating using the biological microbes on
And
this.
since I need to, for a technical question.
We stopped that 3 years ago. I don't know if you knew that, the revive.
No, I didn't.
Before
That
Foslock.
was my question.
Before Foslock.
The other reason why it's important to find out if those aerators work is the fact that those microbes require at least 2 parts per million oxygen in order to thrive.
Right, that's why the aerators were.
So if aerators are not operating now, it's unlikely that they were operating back in the revival stage. So, I mean, those are just questions that have to be answered.
That was the attempt to oxygenate the lake.
Now,
As
if-
you said, that was the purpose of putting it.
If the oxygenator diffusers weren't working, and we get them to work, maybe change the position of them, and supply oxygen to the bottom, and we get oxygen levels above 2 parts per million, then maybe we will look at flying revive.
And you did mention, so there is, the filamentous algae is still there, or is it not? You said the Elodita has been.
I don't know about filamentous algae, I haven't seen it. I'm just familiar with the
Well,
plant council.
it's fairly obvious when it's there. It looks like little hair,
Oh, yeah.
long hairs.
Well, when I was at the lake, few times, the only algae I saw was
Forms large mass.
the plant algae.
Now, my technical question about your current experimental attempt is that in your report, you said that you need to keep the hydrogen peroxide between 3 and anything over 7 was damaging to the environment. And I forget if that's parts per billion or the exact numbers. How do you, parts per million, okay, so how do you control that accurately so that you don't damage the fish or the environment?
Well, what the sampling, why we actually did our sampling on the lake and did all that mapping, was so that we could determine exactly what the volume of the water column was. So we know what the volume of the water column is. We know what, a certain amount of material is going to going to produce a certain parts per million. So all we need to do is not go above and beyond what's
So-
calculated.
So you're telling me that you're going to go through the lake and change the amount of element that you're putting in the lake based on the depth that your boat is at that time?
Depending on how far down deep into the water column we want to go, correct?
So that's how you're going to determine it. Did you do any, speaking of sampling, did you do any sampling to make certain that you don't exceed the limits that the EPA is?
But we're confident that we're not going to exceed them because you're looking at a difference of, tenfold in the amount of material. And you're dealing with materials that run, $50, $60 a gallon. And we're not going to over-apply the material. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I've also read reports that with this hydrogen peroxide, that you can get a rebound effect after it's applied and get more phosphorus like after several months.
But that's only if you're applying the hydrogen peroxide, the PAC 27. What we're doing is we're applying it with iron to remove the phosphorus out of the water column. All the hydrogen